What is up, guys? Jacob here from Typical Teens. I guess we're going to change the name eventually. Someday. That's a different video for another time, but someday, maybe in the future, we might change that name. Anyways, for this video, there's some stuff I like to talk about. Ignore that. Ignore that too. Anyways, in this video, I want to talk about what I did last week. Last week, I was in Chicago doing some mission work with my church, and I'm not going to get all religious in this video and just blah blah blah. I'm just here to say some stuff about what I learned on that trip and what you guys should also take away in life, I guess. Just, I don't know how to explain it, but just you'll figure it out once I get done trying to explain what I'm explaining. So mainly while I was there, a lot of the work we did was for the homeless. And this one thing we did, it was called Taking It to the Streets. It was called. And what we did was we were at this one giant church, I guess is what it was, in downtown Chicago somewhere. I forget the name of the church, but what we did there was we made sandwiches for homeless people. We made a ton of sandwiches, like a whole lot of sandwiches. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, by the way, just in case you're wondering. Not important detail, but just in case you might want to know. And we put in the bags with the sandwiches were applesauce, I think. Pretty sure it was applesauce and cookies. A couple cookies were in there too. But we also had a water. And so what we did, we would just walk down the streets of Chicago looking for people who were there. And you see everybody there with homeless, I mean, not homeless, but you see a bunch of people, whether it be businessmen, just people who work at Target, for say, to homeless people right there on the streets, begging for money, just asking for anything. And you see all these rich people just walk on by, these people that can spare a few bucks or help them out. They don't do anything. And that's what bothers me the most, is that there's so much homelessness going on in the world. And even in Chicago, just a little area, there's a whole bunch of people that are homeless. And there are so many things that we could do to help them out. But nobody does anything at all to do that. We just walk on by without thinking twice about them, because no one cares about them enough to actually help. And that's why I like going on this trip, because I really learned a lot about myself and about helping others. Now, what I also learned is that, swipe that, Haley, edit that part out, please. I learned mainly that people come in all shapes and sizes, obviously, but there are people out there who try their best to help others. For example, I guess I try my best to help in any way I can for people, whether it be a friend or these homeless people. Exactly is what I'm trying to get at, is I'm trying to help them, and everybody else, I mean, besides the group that I was with, we all helped them out, and nobody else does anything about it. Nobody really helps them. They just sit there and stare at them, or just watch them, or just walk right on by and ignore them. And it pains me at times to see that, because there is so much we could be doing, but instead we don't do it. And just seeing the faces of the people when they got the food and the water, it was just, I don't know how to explain the moment, but like the feeling was just amazing, I guess. It was warming, heartwarming to see these people that haven't eaten in like 3 or 4 days to finally get a meal for once. A nice sandwich with some water, something to drink, you know? It's nice, and they're really appreciative of it. And that's also something I learned is that all of us, everybody here who's living in a house or like has a good income, is pretty rich and everything, we take everything for granted. That's what we do. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, you may not even think about it, but every day you go through life just not even thinking that there are people who have it tougher than you do. Like, you'll go out in the world and you'll see that maybe McDonald's screwed up your order or something like that. And like, you want it redone. And what do they do with the sandwich? They just throw it away and you don't even care. Like, that sandwich could have gone to somebody else. It could have been another homeless person's meal. I mean, that's something we should work on, I think. When you go to a store, next time you go to a restaurant or someplace and you don't finish your food, or they screw up your order, they're just going to throw it away. So what you should do, and I'm going to try and do this actually from now on too, is you should get a to-go box. Get it to go, get a bag for it or something, and then go outside, find the nearest homeless person you can, ask them the last time they ate, ask them if they would like a meal. I have some leftovers here, I would love to give you this. Just go up to them, give them your food, and just watch their face. They'll light up with joy. Because they haven't had a meal in a couple of days, and they're getting some food finally, something good to eat. But we honestly always take it for granted. Our food, our clothes, everything. You don't truly know what you have until it's gone. That's a real good quote to go by. Excuse me. Sorry, but you don't know what you have until it's gone. Like these people that are living out on the streets. One day you have everything, like an iPod, iPad, Xbox, clothes on your back, more clothes, like a decent roof over your head. You get 3 meals a day. But just think about that. That could all change at any moment. Like, let's say something was to happen to your house. Like, you got foreclosed, you get kicked out of your apartment, and you don't have anywhere to go. You end up living on the streets with only the stuff that you can carry. And that's not much considering, because you're out there every day on the streets, fighting to survive, fighting for your next meal, just fighting in general for anything. They're trying to get a job, they're trying to look for houses, but that's the problem. They can't because they have no money. They have nowhere to go except these homeless shelters. And these homeless shelters, a lot of them just are terrible. They're bad quality stuff. I went to this one homeless shelter while we were there in Chicago, sorry. But it wasn't like an adult homeless shelter. It was a youth homeless shelter. It was called La Casa Norte. It's Spanish. I don't quite know what it stands for, but that place is amazing. They do a lot of things that a lot of these homeless shelters don't do. They give these kids nice beds to sleep in. They wash the blankets every day. If there's a little stain on them, they get rid of it. They try to make sure that everything is good quality stuff. They make sure that they get a meal right away before they answer any questions, before they can do anything else. They ask them when they walk in, have you eaten? When was the last time you eaten? And they give them a meal. And then once they eaten, whatever it's called, they then start to question them, obviously, to ask them questions, other things. And since they have their meal, they can actually properly answer that. Whereas if they haven't, they wouldn't be able to answer their fullest ability. And that's nice. Another thing is they have plenty of food there too. They give you food. Like, I'm not saying a lot of homeless shelters don't do that. I'm not the most, I don't know, I've never been to many, but I don't know many that do actually feed you meals a lot. I mean, I'm sure they all do. I'm not quite sure on this. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it just, La Casa Norte is a good place. They want you to feel at home. They want the kids that walk in there to feel that they have a place to go, to feel nice and loved, to feel happy. My dog's over there, sorry. But it's just, there's so much homelessness in Illinois in general, just the state. There's like over 10,000 youth, not even youth, just 10,000 people in general that are homeless. And the only beds they have, there are only a certain number of beds they have in the state. And that's just in general, everywhere, honestly. No matter where you go, there's not enough beds for these homeless people. And that's our problem, is we don't care. We don't put enough effort into keeping people in their homes to make sure they don't end up on the streets. That we just are gladly willing to kick people out because they're not paying money. They're not giving in for bills. They're not paying their bills. They're not doing anything that you want them to do. So you're kicking them out of the streets because you're the apartment owner and you don't want them in your building because they're not giving you any money. And like, you don't even give a thought. You don't care about the people. I'm not saying that this is everybody in general. Like, I'm sure there are some people out there that don't do this, but I know there are people out there that will do this, that do this, and that don't care much for people. Just care about the money that they get. They don't care if they end up on the streets. They don't care if they end up in a ditch dead. And that's what pains me, honestly, is that this is humanity here. That's the human race. People only care about money. Like, I'm just in awe by it. It shocks me, really. Just, guys, please, come on. I know we can do better than this. This is just not something that should be kind of like, this is not a thing we should be doing. We should be caring more about each other than about some paper. Yes, things are nice. I will admit, I love to buy stuff. But when it comes to actual things that I want, it doesn't compare to like the feeling of joy that you get to helping others and to being there for other people. Things don't make you happy. I mean, they can, yes, but like, they can't always be there for you. Neither can people, I guess, but still, guys, I'm trying to say that, like, people, we need to help each other out, seriously. Just go out there someday, just, even today, just go outside right now, find somebody, and just tell them you love them, tell them you're always there for them, just make them smile, make their day. That's what I try to do a lot, is try to make people's day, is try to make them smile. Try to make them laugh, just do anything I can. Especially with these homeless people. I try to give them what I can, when I can. And it's just, people need to start being a little more humble, I think. Because we're all too self-seated. We only think about ourselves. We don't think about others more. And I will admit I have obviously thought of myself a couple of times over other people a lot. But that's what this trip has taught me, is that humanity, we need to be better. We need to be a lot better people than we are. Just do your best, guys. Come on. I know we can do this. There are people out there starving to death that don't have any family to rely on because they were a drug addict or something. But we just really need to focus on being better people. Everybody, even me, I need to do it too. Because I know we've all have thought of ourselves way more than others. But thanks, guys, for hearing me out. And please, just stay golden. We love you. Just be yourself. Don't let others try to change you. But, alright, that's contradicting what I'm trying to say. No. Cut that out. Just cut all that. What at my exit, try and cut that out, Haley, please. Thank you. Alright, so just be more humble, guys. I love you. Stay golden. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.